Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tay's World. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel today, and I am going to be talking about my labor and delivery video. It took forever for me to get time to actually just film this video. Y'all, my baby. Oh, bless her heart, bless her crybaby heart. Anyway, guess without further ado, we'll go ahead and get right into the video of my labor and delivery story time. It was eventful. It was, let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. All right, well, I can say, let's see. When we first got to the hospital, got there at 7:30. I was induced. My appointment was made 3 days prior. Or was it 4? Let's see. I wrote this stuff down, y'all. I don't know why I ain't looking at it. But anyway, so I checked in on 12/2. So I had my baby December 3rd. So yes, 4 months later, I'm just now. But at least it's getting done, right? Yeah. So anyways, I went in for my appointment, my doctor's appointment on December, it was like 4 or 5 days before I gave birth, because it was like a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday, and I had my appointment, and she said, well, your blood pressure is 154 over 90. So I'm like, what? That's high. My blood pressure has never ever been, I have perfect blood pressure, always had perfect blood pressure. So my blood pressure has never really been more than 120 over 80, which is perfect blood pressure. It might be like 121 over 81, 170, or 119 over 79, but it's never high. And for my age, it's like for me to never have had high blood pressure, it was very uncommon. I'm 38. So I thought that was weird that I all of a sudden had high blood pressure. So of course that put me at risk of preeclampsia. So I'm 37 weeks at the time. No, I was 36 weeks and 3 days at the time. So at that appointment, she pretty much said, we're inducing you next week. And I was like, okay, guess I don't have a question. Maybe I do. Well, you know what? I'm ready for this to be over. Let's do it. So, of course, I watched videos on inductions and got scared. So anyway, I go in for the induction, which was the next week. She scheduled it for Tuesday, and I had to be there at 7 o'clock at night. So I was there for my induction. I get there, they hook me up. It takes about 2 hours to get everything started and going. They give me, I think what it's called is Cervidil. Yeah, they do Cervidil. They insert it to soften your cervix. Good thing about that is, though, I was already like, what was it? Like 40% effaced or something. I was already some effaced. And that's probably because I faithfully used primrose oil pills, and I also faithfully drank labor prep tea for the last 3 months of my pregnancy. I did both, and then as my labor and delivery became closer, I did more. I drank more tea, and I actually inserted pearls, and pearls. I own a pearl company. Anyway, we only pearls, but I actually inserted the pills at nighttime, and then I would take them during the day. Matter of fact, I'll insert a picture right here of the primrose oil pills that I took, and I got them from Amazon. I'll also insert a picture here of the actual labor prep tea that I ordered and I took my whole pregnancy. When I tell you it worked wonders, it worked wonders. Let me tell you why and how. So anyway, I get in the room, they give me the Cervidil. The Cervidil has to stay in, I think, I hope I'm saying it right, because it might be a whole nother word. But either way, whatever it is, it's a thing that goes in, and you have to keep it in for 10 hours. And then after 10 hours, they take it out. It's supposed to soften your cervix. So they took mine out the next morning at like 10 o'clock. Once they took it out, I was 100% effaced, 1 centimeter dilated. I'm like, what the hell? So anyway, 1 centimeter dilated. So they was like, all right, we're going to go ahead and get the Pitocin started. My nurse, she comes in at 7 o'clock. The same time I had to be there, they did a 12-hour shift. So she came in a few minutes after I got into the room. When I tell y'all this nurse was the best nurse that I've ever encountered in my entire life, I sent her an edible arrangement after the fact. She was the bomb. Like, I swear she was an angel, because it's like once it was all over, she disappeared and I never saw her again. Not even one time. It was crazy. I had to get her name and everything from the front. But either way, yeah, she was definitely an angel. So 10 o'clock, they took out the Epidural. They automatically started the Pitocin. I would say I was starting to get some contractions within 30 minutes of the Pitocin. The contractions really were not that bad to me. Even when my water broke 3 hours after getting Pitocin. So once my water broke, was it 3 hours? Yeah, 3 hours after getting Pitocin, my water broke. It broke on its own. I was like, I think my water broke. And she was like, let's check. So she checks to see if my water actually broke. And she does like a swab. There's so much of it. Like, I'm like, this is definitely my water breaking. I know I didn't just pee on myself. I've been peeing on myself my whole pregnancy. If y'all know anything about that, then you know if you laugh, jump, cry, shoot, it don't matter what you do. Don't do nothing too fast or you're going to pee. Maybe a little bit. But anyway, a little TMI. But, yeah, so she checked it. And why did it come back negative? Saying that it was not amniotic fluid. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because that was definitely amniotic fluid. She was like, yeah, this is wrong. She literally tosses it over her shoulder and says, we need to call for your epidural right now. So she calls for my epidural. I'm literally like really not even in much pain right now. I'm all over the place, I tell you. Anyway, right before she calls for the epidural, she checks me. I am 5 centimeters. I'm 5 centimeters is when she checks me. And I'm still like, oh, I'm okay. I can wait a little bit. And once my water broke, she was like, no, ma'am. Once your water breaks, the pain comes a whole lot more than what you're experiencing right now. So we need to call for your epidural. It could take an hour to get here. The lady for the epidural was there within 5 minutes. Now, y'all know during COVID times, there's no visitors in the hospital. This hospital I was at is like a fairly new hospital, so they actually did not even have a whole lot of, it was like me and 2 other women that was in there, and the whole floor. This is a huge hospital, by the way, but the whole floor was only me and 2 other women that were actually giving birth at the time. So my epidural was done in 5 minutes, and after she gave me the epidural, which was a breeze, hold on, guys. I gotta go back and tell you this part. This was so funny. When we first got to the hospital and I'm in the room, my 16-year-old daughter is with me as well. And we get into the room, and the room they gave me is adjacent to a woman in labor. I'm literally changing into my nightgown, and all you hear is, oh my gosh, somebody help me. I'm like, I changed my mind. You know what? This is an induction. I'm 37 weeks. I don't really have to do this today, do I? I don't have to do this today. I can wait till next week. My nurse was like, yeah, sorry about that, but you won't be delivering next week. You'll be delivering sometime tonight or tomorrow, not realizing it was going to be, tomorrow. But anyway, that was the craziest thing ever, because my daughter was dead weak. She laughed so hard, she fell over, she's holding her stomach, she has tears in her eyes, and she is laughing. I'm laughing, but I'm terrified. I'm only laughing to keep from crying. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I was so glad when she had that baby. But anyway, once again, like I said, my nurse was the bomb. She handled everything so well for me. Like, I didn't have to even ask for anything. It was like before I asked, it was like one of those like movies or cartoons or whatever. It's like before you even ask her, like this. Here you go. Here you go. And I was like, oh, thank you. Can I thank you. Like, she was just the best. She was so attentive. I know that's what they're supposed to do and that's their job. But everybody doesn't love their job. And I can tell she genuinely loved her job. So anyways, so after I got the epidural, my water broke. Like I said, a few hours later, once my water broke, got the epidural, everything was, fine. I think I slept for like an hour. Then they came in and they were like, time to check you again to see, how far along you are. And she checked me again, 10 centimeters. From the time I got my epidural till the time I turned 10 centimeters was less than 2 hours, I want to say. I can't remember. It was a very quick time frame. It was a very quick time frame, man. It was like with my first daughter, I had her 30 minutes after getting an epidural. So I kind of felt like I knew it was going to go fast after I got the epidural, but simply because they say the body remembers. Because I was asking, it's been so much time in between both children. And they're like, nope, your body remembers and, just does what it does. And it did the same thing again. It really did. 16 years later, I was actually really worried about having a hard labor. So it's time to push. All of a sudden, there's 10 people in my room. Don't know where these people came from. I don't even remember them coming in the door. All I know is it's time to push. So they're like, push. I pushed one time. Stop. I'm like, what? We need to get the doctor in here. The baby's head is already crowning. Okay. Just like my first daughter. All those years prior, same exact thing happened. I pushed one time with my daughter, my oldest daughter, and they had me stop. They had to get the doctor. So finally they got the doctor in 2 seconds. Like I said, there was nobody hardly there. So the doctor was probably already waiting to be called anyway. So they called doctor. Doctor comes in. Once she comes in, she takes one look and she's like, give me a push. I pushed for 10 seconds and her head was out. That was the second push. They give you the break. You push another, 10 seconds. She's out. 3 pushes. She's totally out. I'm like, what in the world? Okay. So, I don't know. It's like when I went through all of that, it kind of made me feel like, did I even need to get induced? Like, my blood pressure never got high again. It was only 145/90 in the doctor's office that day of my last appointment. It was, they tested me, or they did my blood pressure 3 times that day. It never went down. So I understand that I was definitely at risk of preeclampsia, and it was probably like a beginning onset. And they've been seeing way too many, stillbirths, and, because of high blood pressure that was not caught. So now, like, they're very, very big on, you need to go, we need to induce you now. 37 weeks, they will definitely induce you. They induced me and I live in Virginia Beach. So, yeah, they did not hesitate whatsoever. I can say that the experience was not too bad. Her father is a truck driver and he was actually not able to be there for the actual birth because he was across the daggone country, and they made this appointment. They did it about 4 or 5 days prior, but he has to drop off the load in California. I'm in Virginia. So he had to drop off and then get all the way back here driving, all while taking breaks, because as a truck driver, you still have to take those resets and everything else. So anyway, he didn't make it. He got here the day after actually I gave birth. So I give birth. They put me into recovery. I go to recovery for like an hour or so. And after that, they moved me to my actual room that I'm going to stay in. So we get to the room and it was late at night. We get to the room that night. The next morning comes. Nothing happens really that night. We just kind of check in. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything, guys. I can go back though. Okay, so anyway, they put me in the room and the main room. So the next morning, I get up, I call for the baby because they took her to the nursery. I call for them to bring her to me at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So they bring her to me and I keep her the whole time. So then the pediatrician comes in. So this is like 5 hours later. The pediatrician comes in. I know it's time for her to eat. I thought they were going to feed her while they were in the nursery because the nurse came and got her for the pediatrician to check her out. So I didn't think nothing of, feeding her right then. So they bring her back to the room and they check her blood sugar. So when they checked her blood sugar, it was high. And they were like, hold on, I think it shouldn't be over 50. And hers was like 57 or something like that. But they don't want it over like 50. And so the nurse was like, this is the second time that we've seen this number in the last hour. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? So she explains it to me pretty much like diabetes. I had gestational diabetes during my pregnancy. So it was almost as if the baby was just trying to wean off of what was, how the uterus actually supplies everything for the baby. So now that she's out, she doesn't get supplied what would have brought it down because she's not, the placenta did that. So anyways, so they're like, so she calls the pediatrician. The pediatrician says, take the baby to the NICU. I'm like, NICU? So immediately after she says that, before she even hung up the phone, 3 people come in my room and they all surround the baby. They start doing tests and vitals and everything on my baby. I'm just like, what is going on? I'm scared. They're not really telling me much. They're just saying her sugar level is high and we just need to do some checking. And, they're not really telling me exactly what they're doing. Within the time frame that they got in the room and they're checking on the baby, they're rolling her out the door within 2 minutes. I'm crying hysterically. My daughter is trying to calm me down. I don't know what to do. I'm, trying to call her father. I'm not able to get in touch with him. I'm just like, like my baby. I don't know what to do. She's just hopeless, helpless little person, and I didn't plan for this. The crazy thing is, I did do a reading with a card reader, I guess is what she is, when I was 5 months pregnant. She told me my baby was going to go to the NICU. She told me she would only be there for 3 days, and she told me the reason would have something to do with her eating. That's all she told me. I was 5 months pregnant when she told me this. I have it recorded and I wrote it down. I had to come home and listen to it, because that's exactly what happened, is exactly what she said. And her name is Luna, by the way. I don't know, because she does phone readings. If anybody wants to, I'll tag her in the bottom, or not tag her, but put her information or whatever in the description. If you want to do like a reading with her, she's really, 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 really good. If you're okay or into that. But anyway, she's really good. And she told me all this was going to happen prior. I was just like, no, it's not. She's not going to go to the NICU. Why would she go to the NICU,
That's crazy.
Hi, baby. That's my baby, y'all. Y'all want to see her? Oh, she has a little throw up on her mouth.
Yeah, she already burped.
Oh, goodness gracious, Soraya. Let's see. Let mommy say, mommy, go wipe it off for me. All right. We got you. Okay. I'll wipe it off, guys. Anyway, here she is. Say hi. Hi, people. Say hi, YouTube. What are you looking at? I don't know. The wall, the white wall. Okay, all right. Say hi, Baby Nation. Say, my name is Baby Nation Shay. She's just looking everywhere. All righty. Say bye-bye. Mommy has to finish. Bye-bye. All righty. There you go. All right. So, where was I at? Oh, man, where was I at? I forgot.
Talking about the fortune lady.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Soraya. Yes, you know, in my conversation. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what Luna told me when I was between 4 and 5 months pregnant. So anyways, yeah, so she went to the NICU. She was there for 3 days. Her sugar levels dropped down. They ended up having to change her milk. Yeah, they ended up having to change her milk to the milk that's like 2 calories more than the other milk or whatever. And she was fine after that. But then I realized after all of it was said and done, like, she didn't eat that day. The pediatrician took her and she didn't eat for 5 hours. She's a newborn. They need to be eating every 2 to 3 hours. She didn't eat anything. So her levels were not right because she wasn't maybe it was low. I keep saying high. I can't remember. Maybe y'all know what I mean or talking about. If you do, leave it in the comments below and let me know. Is it high or low? I know it's supposed to be 50 something. Anyway. Yeah, so they ended up changing her milk, and then once they changed her milk, like, she was fine. And it's crazy because the doctor, the NICU physician, did not want to change her milk. Like, the nurse had to convince her, like, listen, I've seen this before. We need to change her milk. She needs a higher calorie milk. And so she tells me, and she was like, I need you to speak to, the NICU pediatrician because she's not changing the milk, but I know that this will help her and you'll get out of the NICU. So I was like, okay, cool. Where's she at? Like, tell her come in here. So she comes in there, whatever. I let her know, I really, want to go ahead and change her milk. I'm not really asking you. I'm kind of telling you that we're going to go ahead and try the extra calorie milk. So once we did that, fine, smooth sailing. We went home the next day. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I was in the hospital for a total of 6 days when I really should have left in 2. It was such an eventful 6 days. some tears, and they just kept pricking the bottom of her little heel, and oh my gosh, lots of tears actually, not just some. Poor baby. But yeah, it was okay. Overall, everything was all right. My baby's okay. She's happy. She's loving. She's loves her mommy. She just wants to be held all day long. Yeah, she wants me to hold her all the time. I mean, she likes her swing, her bouncy thing, and you know. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Wouldn't change the experience. I would take with the Nicu. But I wouldn't change, you know, I wouldn't change it. It is what it is. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for, sorry y'all, for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more content. Definitely day in the life videos, things about Baby Nation. Definitely will be doing a lot about Baby Nation and videos about her. So, you know, tune in, subscribe. It's going to get more interesting. I promise. Thank you.